Hi, today we're going to do a unboxing, but the real reason behind it is I always check things when they come in, and I take videos to make sure I have evidence if something is broken or damaged during shipping. So I do this with a lot of different things, especially things I buy from like wholesalers, eBay, things like that that are electronics may be damaged in shipping, namely PCs like the three I have here today to show you. So I never took the videos of those, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk to all of you and to tell you what I like to do, and maybe we can start a dialogue. Maybe you have some ideas that you would like to share in the comments down below. So if you have some thoughts, some other ideas of how to make sure that the products coming in are videotaped, pictures, whatever. How can we make sure that we have evidence to provide in case something is damaged, maybe something isn't what it's supposed to be? I've had that happen. So let's take a video right here. So I'm going to unbox these. One other thing I like to pay attention to, especially if I get a good deal off of a supplier, I like to look and see how did they pack it. You know, some of them do a horrible job, some of them do a fantastic job. It really matters if you're going to be dealing with someone a lot. How good are they packing them? I don't want two computers to get to me in good shape and one computer to get to me in bad shape. And I'll show you what I mean about that a little later. I have a computer down here that I'll show you what happened. So it's not a huge deal, but it is a deal. So the first two we have are Lenovo ThinkStation P310s. They've got Intel i7 6700 processors, 16 gigabytes of RAM, no hard drives, no operating system. So in another video, I'm going to install the operating systems on a 240 gigabyte SSD, and then I'll install Windows on that. I may not show the installation of Windows, but I'll let you know where I purchase copies of Windows. A lot of other people purchase there. I've seen videos on YouTube, so you can check that out too, see if it works for you. So let's take a look at this first computer and see what it looks like. So I'll start out in this view, and you can see with me what it looks like here. And then I'm going to switch over and take a look at it from above here, and we'll see what that looks like. Let me get that. There you go. So when I switch over, you can take a look there and see what it looks like from above. So we get her open, and alright, real quick, I forgot to carry over the settings to scene 2, so I'm going to do a quick voiceover. What we're looking for here is how well this is packed. This one, it's packed okay, but as you can see, no foam, no styrofoam, nothing. It is bubble wrapped, but it could be better. Again, it's not horrible, but it's also not great. So we're just going to pull it out of here, take a look at it, see if we hear anything. I think I heard something when I was doing it. So yeah, that's why I'm shaking it. We're going to pull all that off of there and open her up, see what we got. Hopefully it's all good. So we're pulling the bubble wrap off, and did have a couple layers of bubble wrap, so it's pretty good. But as I said, I prefer styrofoam, because the styrofoam is really going to offer a lot better protection. So you're going to get all kinds, but the reasons why we're checking, as I mentioned, is you want to have a video to show what it looked like when you opened it up. Is there anything missing, anything broken? What about the specs? Does it have the memory it's supposed to have? Is there something inside not right? We need to know these things, and we need to be able to show the seller if there is a problem. So here you go. We're going to turn her over. You can see this is a grade C, and you can see there's a little bit of damage here. It's not a lot, and to be honest, I don't really care too much about that. You could touch it up or something if you wanted. Here's a little black screw that I found. Now, I have no idea where that came from. Never seen one of these in a computer, but yeah, there it is. So we're just going to take a look at everything, see if anything looks like it got damaged in the shipping. I didn't notice anything. The front's also all good. So, you know, all looking good right there. I don't see anything that bothers me so far. So we're going to open up the case, take a look inside, see what we got. Do like how these open so easy. Lenovo cases, pretty easy to open. That's always a plus in my book, because I'm the kind that likes to get in there and clean and check things out a lot, and easier to open, that's better. I don't always leave those screws on the back because, I mean, do you need them? So here I'm pointing out that I would drop an SSD up there in the top, and then I could put 2 hard drives in. Now that's up to you. One SSD in one of the cradles or caddies, and a hard drive in the other one. That's also fine. This computer does have 2 8-gigabit sticks in, so we got a total of 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is very good. Don't really need much more than that. Here, I'm very surprised. This is a 6-pin connector. Now, I believe these computers were advertised to have a 250 watt power supply. So I thought maybe a 750 tie, 1050 tie is about as best I could possibly do. But here I'm putting on my glasses so I can actually see. And what do I see? That is a 400 watt, 80 plus platinum. Now that is a fine hard drive, fine power supply there. So I'm very, very happy with that. This is a big plus. So this system went from good to great. So that means you could easily put a 1060 in there, like a 1066 gigabyte, and that'll play just about any game they make. Now, granted, if you're talking about AAA titles, it's not going to play everything on the highest settings, but it will play on high settings, and it will play almost anything at a very playable frame rate. So, very good. Very happy with that. Nice power supply. So, all in all, big win, good price. Very happy with what we have here. We're going to close that up, I guess, and we'll take a look at some of the other computers. But yeah, big win. We got Intel i7 6700 processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM, no hard drive, no operating system. That's okay, we knew that. We're going to put a 240 gigabit SSD in there, and probably at least a 1 or 2 terabyte drive, and we will have a fine computer that will play almost anything. Well, I forgot to mention the 1060. So yeah, we'll probably put a 1060. Now, I've got several of these up for builds, and we're going to put a variety of cards in there. I'm thinking some of them 1060s, and some of them we're going to put in. I have a 750. I have a AMD 360, and I have one other card. It's just on the tip of my tongue, but anyway, we're going to be putting different cards in there because these PCs are scheduled to be used for different purposes. So depending on who is going to receive the card and what they're going to use it for, they're going to get a different card, and they'll get a different price because 1060 is obviously worth more than a 750 Ti, and so yeah, they can save about $50 to $75 on the unit by going with that card, and it'll still do what it needs to do for them. So here I put a PC, another box up, but I believe this box is the HP workstation. So we're going to set that aside for a moment and put this one up there because this is the other Lenovo ThinkStation P310. So love these workstation PCs. They're just made better with better components. Now this is from the same person, so yeah, I'm not surprised. We have the same packing material in there. Again, not great, but also not horrible. So I am wondering, does this one have the 250 watt power supply that I thought? I can't remember if the seller said it or if I saw that online, but yeah, it hopefully has the 400 watt like the other one. Got my hopes up here. I'm not going to be too disappointed because I was expecting a 250 watt power supply and maybe putting in a 1050 Ti or a 750 Ti and it being good enough, because I really wasn't intending to put 1060s in all of them, because some of the people that will be using these, they don't game. They're just not going to see a lot of benefit from it. Maybe very mild benefit, but nothing to make it worth the extra $100. So I thought, I can get it to them cheaper, and yeah, we just go with the 750 Ti or a 1050 Ti. They could probably save about $100 if I went with the 1050 Ti, and they would probably save about $50. I mean, I got that wrong. 1050 Ti save about 50, 750 save about 100. And here, I hear something inside. I wonder what it could be. This case looks a little bit better. Still got a few scratches here and there, but overall, it's not bent, it's not damaged. I don't see anything broken. So it's just cosmetic. Again, don't really care about that. As long as everything is intact, I'm going to be happy. So I look in here. I see there's just one memory module. So I'm thinking, it's got to be a 16 gigabyte, which is, okay. I prefer two 8 gigabit or 8 gigabyte, but it is what it is. And I look at it and no, that is one 8 gigabyte. So this is a perfect example of why you want to inspect your PCs. Now, I'm not going to fault the seller. I'm sure that all the others had the 16 gigabytes. I mean, the two 8 gigabytes, and this one didn't. But I will be able to contact them, show them this video, and prove it. So I'm looking in there, and yes, it does have the 6-pin. So, yay, another 400-watt power supply. Gonna put on the old glasses and confirm it, but yeah, it's all good. 400-watt power supply. Does have that a screw in there, and that's why I was shaking it around. So I'm gonna try to get that screw out, and there it is. It's sliding. Oop, there it goes, sliding around, sliding around. I'm gonna have to get that to where I can get a hold of it. Not always so easy. I'm gonna get a screwdriver, and there we go. And what do you know? It's the same little black screw. Where do you come from, Mr. Black Screw? All right, so there you go. Happy, got a 400-watt, 80+ platinum power supply with the 6-pin. Not happy that it doesn't have the 16 gigabytes it was supposed to have. I will be contacting the seller. I'm sure they'll be happy to send another 8-gigabyte module. And if not happy, I'm sure they will. I can show the video to prove that the one module is all. So I'll just do a screenshot of this video. Say, hey, where's my other module? All right, so there we go. That's 2 computers down, both of them in really good shape. One is missing the module, but you know, that's no problem. After I contact the seller, then I can get that replacement module, and by the time I'm ready to do this build, we'll be all good. So let's just put all the screws back in, and we'll set this one aside, and we'll move on to the last one. So as you can see, there are a lot of great reasons to videotape yourself unboxing a computer and other electronics as well, because you just don't know. And it's not that the sellers are always trying to cheat you or anything, but it happens, just as it probably happened in this one, and you want to have documentation. So there we go. We're going to set this one aside, and let's take a look at the last computer, and that's going to be HP Z240 Tower Workstation, also with an i7-6700, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a 500 gigabyte HD hard drive. It does have Windows 10 Pro installed. So I paid just a little bit more for this one, but I do have the hard drive. Even if it's not very big, it's okay. And I have Windows 10, so worth a few extra dollars. And I will be putting a 240 gigabyte SSD in there. So we'll transfer the operating system to the SSD, and we may just leave that 500 gigabyte or go with like a 1 or 2, or go with like a 1 or 2 terabyte. So let's see what we got inside this one. Okay. Looks like the box is in good shape. Don't see any problems there. It's also something to look for. When you see a box damaged, you have to question whether or not that corner or side of the computer possibly got damaged. So always something to look for. And when you open it up, take a little bit closer look at that particular place to see if perhaps it got damaged. So this is the only HP that I've purchased. I usually just go with Lenovo's. I'm a bit of a Lenovo fanboy, admittedly, but I've had good experiences. So here we go. What do we got? Foam. Look at that. There's a plastic bag that was wrapped around the PC, and then they injected foam into it. And as you can see, it's really good in there. Now, that foam is on the top, the bottom, both sides, all the way around, fully encapsulates the PC. As you can see, I'll tip it up here. Look at that. It's like in a little foam shell. So this is an example of top-notch packing. So I'll keep this seller in mind and for future purchases, especially if the PC is in as good a shape as it looks like, because yeah, look at that. Good packing. So let's get it out of this clamshell of foam. See what we got. Yeah, it's really in there good. Really love it when you get a really well packed computer. So on the top here, we have a sticker with the information about the computer. So let's just take a look at that, and then we'll take a look at the computer. It just states that it's an i7 processor. It says that they checked everything. They checked all of the inputs, outputs, everything was checked. So they inspected, make sure the memory modules are in there, unlike the last computer. This one, they confirmed that they did inspect it. They booted it to BIOS. I'm not sure why they didn't boot it to Windows, because it says Windows was installed. So if you see up there on the top, you see seal. I'm not real thrilled about that. It's good and bad, but the good thing is they say they checked it and they feel confident, and they do have a warranty, so as long as you don't break the seal. The bad thing is it's not as flexible of a situation. So I'm not going to open this up. Before I break that seal, I'm going to take a look at the computer. I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to make sure everything's working the way I want it to, the way it's supposed to. And after I do all of that, then I'll just go ahead and take my chances, break the seal, and install a graphics card and go from there. But yeah, the graphics card, SSD, and possibly a larger hard drive, but not sure. Have to see who this is going to. If they're not going to play games, they might not need more hard drive than that. And they can always add another hard drive at a later date. So I like to try to keep my builds budget friendly, and that's really good for the people who these computers are going to. Don't hear any noise in there, so also good sign. Very well packed, nothing loose inside. Really nice front, back, everything. It's a clean computer. It's a surprisingly clean computer. So probably came from an office, and yeah, it's a nice workstation PC in excellent condition. So yeah, I'm really happy with everything here. All of the computers are in really good shape. Very satisfied with that part. So I'm going to set that one aside too. And we're going to talk about why we're doing this. So we need to make sure that we have documentation of any damage. And I'm going to show you an example here in a second of why you want to do this. So we already learned one reason, because the specs could be wrong. The 16 gigabytes was only 8 gigabytes, and that's not like the end of the world, but even a single 8 gigabyte memory module, it's not free. So we don't want to pay for it if we already paid for it and it didn't arrive. So, but there are possibilities of other things being wrong, the computers being damaged more severely, and in those cases you might want to try to get you a refund or a partial refund. Or so that's one of the reasons why you always want to check this stuff, because it could be, as you saw, you could be missing something that was included in the specs but wasn't included in the order. If you have any ideas or thoughts on how to ensure your computers arrive safely, and if not, how to document through pictures, video, how to document it so that you can show the seller, like I could post it to Google Drive and send them a link and say, hey, here's me unboxing it. This is definitely your computer. And as you can see, it's missing one of the memory modules. And, I would appreciate it if you send another memory module out. Now, I'm always very nice about it. There's no reason at all to be upset and act like you were cheated or something. I'm sure it was unintentional. All of the computers they received, and probably from like an office or something like that, off lease, whatever, they were all probably 16 gigabytes, and somehow or another, one of them was missing a module. Now, I can sympathize with that, because sometimes modules go bad, and there is a good chance that whoever the IT guy was, he opened it up and pulled one of the modules out, and the computer was working again, and whoever worked at the station never complained, and so they're like, okay, problem solved. And should have they ordered another memory module? Maybe so, but they didn't. So here, let me grab this PC over here, and I'm going to show you one of the reasons why you need to check. Now, it's not that serious. It's a broken handle, but it could have been worse. It could have been the front case could have been broken. Who knows? So you do want to be aware of these things. You do want to document them. I did try to use super glue and glue it back on there. That did not work out. It came off fairly easily. You certainly wouldn't have been able to carry it by the case. Now, I like being able to get a hold of that case. It just makes it easier to carry. So I have a different way that I can put that back on there. So I will be giving a shot at putting it on there with a slightly different way. It's not going to be very beautiful or elegant, but it should work. We're just going to put a little clip on there and screw it into the top and the sides. And as I said, not very beautiful, not very elegant, but it will be functional, and with enough glue it should hold just fine, as good as it was in the beginning, just not as beautiful. So yeah, as you can see, that could have been something worse, and luckily it wasn't. But it is documented. So I did take a picture, and I could have went back to the seller and said, hey, the handle was off. Can you give me a partial refund? This computer was intended for someone else. But I didn't, because don't really have any need to. But it is an example of why you should always document it. So again, if you have any thoughts on this topic and you want to share them, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And I would appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share this video with your friends, and if you would like to see more like this, then just let me know. I would be happy to make some more unboxing videos or show you some of my future unboxing videos. I usually don't comment, but I will if you want.